6.8 is combinations of functions. All right. Let's talk about what these math terms mean. Sum, difference, product, and quotient. All right. So if I say the term sum, all right, what's the math operation of that?
Add.
Yep. All right, math. No, let's not do that. Y'all know I like my little tables. Math operation is addition. What about product? Yeah, I thought I was gonna say something else. What about product? What math
Is it
operation is?
multiplication?
It
Multiplication.
sure is. It sure is multiplication. All right. What about difference?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. And quotient refers to what?
Division.
Division. So memorize that just in case you don't know that. Sometimes they're using these fancy words, but all they mean is just add, subtract, multiply, and divide. That's all they're saying. All right, let f and g be two functions with overlapping domains. Then for all x common to both domains, the sum, difference, product, and quotient of f and g are defined as follows. So these are the definitions, I guess. Sum, f plus g of x is just equal to f of x plus g of x. The difference, f minus g of x is the same thing as f of x minus g of x. The product, f times g of x equals f of x times g of x, and quotient, f divided by g of x equals f of x divided by g of x, where g of x cannot equal 0. Why don't we want g of x equaling 0 here?
You don't want 0 in your denominator.
Very nice. Why we don't? What do we call that in math? When the
It's
denominator
undefined.
is
Undefined.
undefined. Yeah, we don't like undefined, okay? So we don't want the denominator ever equals 0 because that's not in our domain. All right, here we go. Let f of x equals 2x minus 3 and g of x equals x squared minus 1. Find the sum, difference, product, and quotient of these functions. Simple. Here's how it goes. Let's first write out sum. We're going to write down the definition. It's f plus g of x. It equals f of x plus g of x. Now that I know my definition, I'm going to make some substitutions. What is f of x according to number 1? It was given to us. What is f of x?
2x minus 3.
Yep. Plus g of x.
X
X
squared
G of
squared
minus
x.
1.
minus 1.
Yep. Only thing we have to do now is combine like terms. But I want you to write, if possible, I know it's not going to be wrong if you don't, but if possible, let's write the answers, try to write the answers in descending order. All right, write the answer. What do I mean about descending order?
About a degree.
Yep, the highest exponent first, all the way down to the constant, if there's a constant. So what will go first here?
The x squared.
Uh-huh. Next.
Plus 2.
2x
And
minus 4.
minus 4. All right. So we are done with the sum. Therefore, f plus g of x is just equal to x squared plus 2x minus 4. Any questions? We're just adding two functions together. That's all we did. Let's go to difference. As a reminder, this is the definition of difference. F minus g of x equals f of x minus g of x. Be familiar with the definitions. It's not too hard to learn those. All right, difference. F minus g of x equals f of x minus g of x. Again, what's f of x?
2x minus 3.
2x minus 3. All right, I'm about to drop this minus here. But what is different about this? Because it's subtraction. So what is, other than Kenna, what would be critical that you have to put right after this minus sign?
You have to put the parentheses.
Very nice. Very nice. You got to put a parenthesis. Are y'all going to remember that? When you have subtraction. Now, let me just say this. You could have put parentheses here. But why isn't it really that important there?
Because
why isn't you adding, and does it affect it that we put a parenthesis there?
No, because it's already positive.
No. Very good, because it's positive, it doesn't affect the answer for the sum. But for difference, if we are subtracting the entire function, we have to put a parenthesis around it, because we're going to show you in the next step. If we put x squared minus 1 right here, what happens? We got to subtract all of that. So 2x minus 3 minus x squared. And what else do we have?
Plus 1.
Plus 1. Because negative times a negative is positive. All right. What's the final answer? Let's write it in descending order.
So that'll be a negative x squared plus 2x.
Yep. Yep.
Minus 2.
Minus 2. Yep. Negative 3 plus 1 will give you that minus 2 right there. All right, so done with that. Any questions about difference? Again, when you're subtracting, always put a parenthesis after the minus, or else your signs will be wrong. All right, let's go to the next operation, which is product. Again, f times g of x equals f of x times g of x. Product. Notice that f and g are right next to each other. That usually indicates multiplication. F of x times g of x. All right. What's f of x?
2x minus 3.
2x minus 3. Now, can I just put a dot here and then put g of x? Will that work?
No.
No.
No, it won't work. Because if you wrote it like that, then we're only multiplying the negative 3 and the x squared in the middle. What do we need that's crucial for this one?
Parentheses.
Yep. Parentheses again, because we have to multiply the entire f of x times the entire g of x. So that means we have to FOIL. Every term must meet each other. Every term must meet. It can't just be what's in the middle meeting. All right. So let's FOIL it out. What do we get when we multiply 2x times x squared?
2x to the third.
Yep. 2x cubed. 2x times negative 1. Somebody other than Alicia and Kenna. Gotcha, Kenna. Other than Alicia and Kenna.
Negative 2x.
Yep. All right. And then we're going to go to negative 3 now and multiply negative 3 times x squared. Somebody other than Christina, Alicia, and Kenna.
Negative 3x squared
Yep. Negative
Negative
3x squared. And then what else? What else?
3 because a negative times negative is positive.
Positive. All right. We're doing good. All right. Is it written the way we want it written out?
No.
Okay. So tell me how to write it then.
2x cubed
Negative.
minus 3x squared minus 2x
Uh-huh.
plus 3.
Very nice. All right. We started with the highest exponent and then we ended with the constant. Very nice. Quotient. Let's go to quotient. This might be the simplest of them all. All right. Quotient. As a reminder, f divided by g of x is just f of x divided by g of x. We just don't want g of x to equal 0. All right. F divided by g of x equals f of x divided by g of x. What is f of x again?
2x minus 3.
Yep. We're going to put that in the numerator. G of x is
X squared minus 1.
x squared minus 1. Now, can I simplify this in any way? Is there any way I could make it smaller or anything?
It's the
Would you
bottom line.
multiply?
Different of sums.
Only thing that you could possibly do here, you could have factored the denominator. You see that? All right. That's called a what in the denominator? X squared minus 1. That's called a what?
Difference of squares.
Difference of squares. Very good. However, when you factor it, what are the factors?
X plus 1,
Yes.
x minus 1.
X plus 1, x minus 1. Does it cancel with 2x minus 3? No.
No.
Right? No. So you can't do anything. But be on the lookout for things like that. What if the numerator was x plus 1 and then you factor it x plus 1 times x minus 1? Then guess what? You have to cancel the x plus 1s. But it's not an x plus 1. It's 2x minus 3. So that's the final answer, believe it or not. It was as simple as that. All right? Because we could not reduce it or simplify or make it smaller. All right, let's discuss the domain of the quotient. We just found the quotient. This is the quotient. How do you find the domain of 2x minus 3 over x squared minus 1?
Do you make a table?
Oh, make a table. Okay. What about this table? I'm following you. Okay, got like this. What you mean like this? A number line, or what do you mean table?
I thought you could do it like when we was plugging in the numbers.
Plugging in numbers. For the domain, find the domain. Anybody remember how to find the domain of a function?
Is
I
it
know
all
that
the
was
X
way
value, all the Y
way back
value?
2-3 weeks ago. What'd you say, Zoe?
I said it's either the X values. Oh, do you set it to 0?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. What did you set to 0, Nakiria?
One of them. Is it the answer we just got? We said both of them equal to 0.
2x minus 3.
We're cool with the numerator, y'all. We just talked about it. We don't want what?
Oh, you set the denominator to 0.
Right. We don't want the denominator to equal 0. So we don't want x squared minus 1 to equal 0. Now we just factored it, x plus 1 times x minus 1. We don't want that equal 0. We set each one to not equal 0, sort of. So we don't want x to equal what numbers?
-1 and 1.
-1 and 1. We don't want x to equal -1 and 1. So how do I write that for the domain then? How do I write that out?
0. All real numbers. Oh.
Thank you.
All
All real numbers.
except -1 and 1.
Except. Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna come back to you. You got a week to study though, because it's gonna be on the exam. We all real numbers except -1 and +1. Except those. We don't want -1 and 1. If I ask you to write it in interval notation, is anyone brave enough to tell me how do you write that in interval notation? I know. I know. Think about it. What you think, Nakiria?
I was about to say, it's kind of hard for me to do it when I don't see like the greater than or equal to sign, because I be forgetting if it would be a parentheses or if it's a bracket without it being there.
Well, here's a clue. The only two numbers we don't want are -1 and 1. So I have to represent all other numbers in this interval notation. So from where to where? From what to what? Where do we start? We start from the lowest number possible.
Yeah, Bill,
which
parentheses, negative infinity
correct.
to -1,
Correct.
and then a union.
All right. This is gonna be a parenthesis, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Union.
And then you'll have -1 to 1.
Very good.
Parentheses
again.
union.
All right.
1 to infinity.
Very good. That's how you will write that in interval notation. You might want to draw a number line just in case you didn't get that, and maybe put like open circles where -1 and 1 are, and then maybe shade everything else in between so you can see where he got that from. That's negative infinity over here. This positive infinity over here. So you writing from negative infinity to -1. You stop, put a parenthesis. From -1 to +1, you stop. And then from 1 to infinity. That's why it's 3 different parentheses. All right, because you have to represent every number in between -1 and 1. All right. Here's a question. Evaluate the sum of the functions above when x equals -1. All right. This is going to be the last problem because we're not going to get to something else. And I wanted to show you one thing before we leave. So this is going to be the last one. What does evaluate mean? Because we evaluated functions. Oh, very good. What'd you say, Nakiria?
Sub in all the x's to -1.
Very good. All right. So it said evaluate the sum. So the sum was, yep. Okay. What color did I use for sum? Blue. All right. F plus g of x. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do it. All right. F plus g of x. I would probably do it this way. Since we already added the 2 functions, I would just take this x squared plus 2x minus 4, because that's what f plus g of x equals. Write that down. And what I do now is it said evaluate the sum when x equals -1. So all she said was, she said sub the x's with that. So instead of an x, we're going to make a substitution and plug in -1. Okay, so that's blank squared plus 2 times blank minus 4. So again, in place of all the x's, that's what it means to evaluate. We're making a substitution. We're replacing all of the x's with a -1. So evaluate basically means to find the value of. To find the value of. And we do it by substituting something. All right. What's negative 1 squared?
1.
1. What about 2 times negative 1?
Negative 1.
Negative what?
-2.
Negative. Oh, I'm
All
sorry.
right. Negative 2 minus 4. So what is 1 minus 2 minus 4?
Negative 5.
Negative 5. Very good. What if I said evaluate the difference? Oh, hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm going ahead of myself. You could also have done it the long way. You could have started back over. You could have done it like this. F plus G of negative 1. That's the same thing as F of negative 1 plus G of negative 1. Right? Then we got to figure out what F of negative 1 equals. So you go to your function up here. If you plugged in negative 1 into this x, what would you get? If you plugged in a negative 1.
-5.
All right. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. Okay. Then I'm going to put plus. Then let's look at G of negative 1. G of negative 1 would mean I'm plugging in a negative 1 in this function, G of x. If you plugged in a negative 1 into G of x, what would you get?
0.
0. 0. So what's negative 5 plus 0? Negative 5. Two different ways to do it, but you get the same answer. Y'all see that? I don't know which way you caught on to faster, but I just wanted to show you both ways to get the answer. I did it this way because we had already added the two functions together already. But if you hadn't done that already, I would probably prefer the second way. All right. So just write that down for now. Let it marinate over the weekend. And because I want to share some resources with you all before y'all go in the last 5 minutes of class. All right. So, I really like this author of this particular pre-calculus book because, and I guess let me show it to y'all. Hold on. All right. This is how your book looks. It's blue. It says pre-calculus 11th edition. 11th edition. Ron Larson is your author. All right. What I like about this book is they have a lot of resources. Okay. And if you just read the first couple of pages, and I wonder if this is in the ebook. If you just read the first couple of pages, it talks about you can scan a QR code, something called Go Digital, and you can scan it, and you can get, I guess, like an app that it will give you easy access from anywhere to instructional videos, solutions to exercises, and checkpoint problems. They also have something called calcview.com, and I'm going to go to it so you can see what I mean. It's a website, calcview.com, calcview.com. So let me show that to you. All right. If you look at it, it says select your textbook. Let's see if you remember. What's the name of your textbook?
Pre-calculus 11th edition, right?
Run.
Yep. Very good. Pre-calculus 11 edition. So I'm going to find it. Pre-calculus 11E right here. I'm going to click on that. All right. Which section do you think you need a little help with in chapter 1? Just throw out a number.
1.5.
All right, let's go to section 5, and they have some exercises from homework. that you can look at. View video. Guess what? There's a video
And then we'll also
on that
evaluate these 4 guys too.
particular
So start with domain and range.
problem
And
or
domain
exercise.
is a set of all input values, or in this case, X.
That's pretty good, isn't it? I like that. All right. So guess what? Anything you have trouble with, we have extra resources. That's not all. There's something called calcchat.com, calcchat.com. It says you can chat with a tutor. Y'all can chat with a tutor at no charge. So that's calcchat. Let me put that in the chat while I'm talking about it. All right. The first one was calcview.com. Then there's calc. Let me capitalize this. Chat.com. All right. Let me show you another website. Larson Precalculus. Larson Precalculus. All right. Let's say it one more time. Now, what's the name of our book and what edition is it?
Precalculus 11.
What's our 11 edition? All right, Precalculus though. All right, let's see if I can find it. Here we go. I'm clicking on Precalculus. Y'all see it's the blue book. That's why I showed it to you so you can have a visual of it. It's the blue book. I'm going to hit view. All right, notice there are solutions. It says watch and listen to the workout solutions to the checkpoint exercises. There are instructional videos again. So if you're having trouble with section, I don't know. Section chapter 1, section 7, for example. Go. You gotta choose everything on here, I see. It will give you a video on that particular item that you selected. So there are tons of resources. Don't go through this whole class and not realize you have all these resources at your fingertips, but you never use them. What if these extra resources will make the difference for you to get from a C to a B or from a B to an A? All right. So I want y'all to take advantage of everything that's really at your fingertips right now. Also, if you want me to tutor you, I don't think you can sign up for tomorrow because you have to do it, I think, at least a whole day before. So just, if you need me to tutor you, just make sure you sign up through the advising center.